Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Caleb here, back with another video. I'm starting to make a lot more progress. Now, I'm still climbing V3s and a couple V4s here and there, but I'm starting to feel a lot more comfortable on V3s. And what I've done in the last couple weeks, the last 3-4 weeks that have really helped me get to that are just a couple quick tricks, and I've got some examples from my last session that we're going to talk through on how I've been doing that. So let's dive into some climbing without further ado. The first one that we're going to talk about is a V3 that I was able to flash using one of these tips. So the first thing that I've been focusing on, kind of tip number one, is working really hard to make fluid movements. So let's watch this climb and then I'll kind of talk about what I mean. Okay, now watching this back, if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll see that my climbing here was so much smoother than what I've been climbing in my last videos. And that's because I've been focusing on just making more fluid, smoother, calmer moves. And that sounds weird and it sounds like it's not something that's really helpful, but I think what I've learned is that when you just kind of imagine yourself doing a move a certain way, just a little bit smoother, then it's gonna feel a lot easier than if you're like holding on for your dear life and come on, let's get to the next move. So a lot of these moves were really tough for me, but every single time I treated them like it was easy. I treated every move, every next step, every next hold like it was an easy problem for me, and that this was just the fluid motions. I was just kind of going through it. So let's talk through this problem really quick. You can see it's super crimpy, super slabby. It's hard to tell, but the wall is completely vertical, so a lot of balance. And you can see, I mean, these holds are not holds that I'm great at. They're just tiny little crimp holds, but I'm just moving slowly, moving to the next one. Everything I do with my feet, I mean, you can still tell I've got beginner feet. That's just something that's gonna take a while to work out. But you can tell everything I do with my feet kind of has purpose. And when I'm moving my hands to the next hold, I'm doing it slowly, controlled. There's never in this problem any sort of, come on, come on, come on, just get it, just get it. Because I feel like a lot of the problems that I'm able to send, that's kind of how it's been. It's like I'm holding on, man, I really hope I get this next one, throw a body part out there, and if it grabs, if it holds on, then that's great. But doing it this way, a little bit smoother, I've noticed just a world of difference. Let's jump into another one here. This is another V3. Well, let's just watch it and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so this one took me a couple tries. I only put the one final send in here because I don't want to make these videos super long. But you'll notice it was overhung a little bit, angled kind of on this corner, which is not my style. And again, it was these crimpier, worse holds. Let's talk through it a little bit. We'll play it back here. So I start off, you can kind of see from that start zoomed in that they're a little crimpier, not horrible, but on this overhung wall, it feels worse. And from there, I'm just foot up, hand up. I hesitate there, I need to work on that. And then this is this big move. I was able to land that pretty smoothly. Another hand up, another foot up. Now, this seems redundant and you're probably like, this is like, why is he talking about this? This seems silly. But the fact is that when you get yourself in the mindset of every move you do is gonna be just as smooth as possible, and then you start telling yourself that it's easy, then it starts to look a little bit more like that, where in some of my past videos, if you go back and you watch some of those past videos, I'm able to flash some V3s, I'm able to conquer some V3s, but it just looks sloppy and it looks like I'm in pain the whole time. And that's because that I was. But just slowing it down, making sure everything is just one fluid motion. Another important part of that is don't hang out in places and try to work up the courage, especially on bigger moves. You know, you get to a move and say you have to pull down and push up really hard, reach that hand up. I caught myself a lot of times, I'm just holding myself here, and then I'm like, you know, I'm almost shaking, and it's like, okay, time to go up, and I try it, and I fail miserably. And that's because I was holding myself here. Every muscle from my forearms to my upper back is engaged that whole time, just wasting energy, and all because I decided to stop and hang out for no reason. And I think that's poor technique and something I'm learning to work on. Not that you need to just fly and go as fast as you can, but when you get here and you know what the next move is, just do it, and do it fluidly. Now my second tip, and this is gonna sound kind of just as redundant and cliche even, is whenever you fall, make sure you figure out the specific reason that you fell. So for me, a lot of the times I would climb and I would fall and be like, man, that's a tough problem. And I'd sit there for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes resting up, and then it's like, okay, let's jump on the wall and do it again. But the fact is, if you do that, you just wasted 5 minutes. I mean, it's not a waste because you're resting, you're letting your muscles recover, but your mind is doing nothing. It could have been sitting there figuring out, okay, I fell right there because my feet were in the wrong spot, or I fell because my knee was angled the wrong way and it caused me to swing out. So first ask yourself, what caused me to fall? If that's a hand slipped, or I was too pumped, or, you know, I barn doored, I swung out, I couldn't get high enough on a bigger move and I didn't grab the hold. Figure out why you fell, and then figure out what you need to do to fix it. And this honestly has been a game changer for me. Even in the last couple of weeks, I've learned so much, and I think just improved so much. And that's all because you're trying to figure out the very specific reason that you fell, and then fixing it for the next time. So let's watch this problem. I picked a problem that I had to project a little bit. It took me a couple tries. I didn't put every attempt in here for, you know, I didn't want you guys to get bored, but let's watch through this first attempt. Okay, kind of a lame first attempt, I know. You guys can't judge me too much. I know that you've all tried to start a problem just like this and then you struggled just on the very start. But I put this in the video because I wanted to prove my point that my first go was bad, but my second go, I figured out what was bad and I fixed it. So if you go back and you watch the start of this again, you can see that I started and I had my feet wrong. So then I needed to go and I needed to switch my feet. I switched to that left foot and then realized it was not positioned well for me to get to the next part. And then from there, my finger slipped off and off I fell. So when I went and sat down, I took a quick break and I thought, well, why did I fall? And I realized it was because I spent so much time, those starting handholds are not great. And I spent so much time trying to figure out my feet that I let my forearms and my fingers get too tired and I came off the wall. And I realized that was because I started on the wrong foot and I had to switch feet and I had to reposition that foot just to be able to try the next move. By the time I did all that, I was tired. So, attempt number 2 here, check it out. So you can see right away, I start with my left foot instead, and I start with it positioned in a way that I can move on. And I was able to move on, got that hand high, my legs spread out really far, which was tough for me, but kind of fun. And get that left foot high, my right hand over, drop that left foot back down, I decide maybe I'll go up with my right hand, or my right foot. No, I'll try my left. My goal is to get up to that. I jump up to it, and I fall. So you can see after very little effort on my part, I was able to double how far I got in this problem. And that's because I took the time while I was resting to figure out the exact reason that I fell so that I can fix the problem and move on. I mean, I imagine you all know when you fall off a problem, for the most part, you know exactly why you fell. Whether it's your foot slipped, you got too tired, you didn't land a move, whatever it is, you know why you fell. But so many people, I think, failed to take that one extra step and create a fix for why you fell. I fell because of this, so I'm gonna try this to fix it. And that, I think, is gonna really boost your projecting. Enough talk, I know I've talked a lot this video. Let's play one last video and you can see the final sins. I know I've talked a lot, and I know that this is, you know, these are probably tips that you've heard before, but I'm saying them again because for me personally, focusing on these two things has changed my climbing completely. I've improved so much. I've improved more in the last couple weeks than I have in the last 2 or 3 months, all because I'm taking the extra effort to make fluid motions, fluid, steady, confident motions, and to figure out exactly why I fell and how to fix it. So if you guys are in a slump, you're having trouble progressing, you're having trouble improving your climbing, I definitely urge you guys, go into the gym next time for your next session and just try this out for a single session. And if it helps you, you can come back and, you know, you don't even have to thank me, but you can come back and hit subscribe because clearly I know something. Hopefully. If it helps you, you'll know that I know something. That's to be determined. But that's gonna do it for this video. I'm having a ton of fun climbing. If you enjoy climbing, if you enjoy trying to improve, trying hard, pushing yourself further, definitely hit subscribe, hit like on this video. Both of those things really help YouTube know that my channel is worth something, and then it'll boost me a little bit, help me get some more views. And that's what this is all about. It's all about views and likes. That's what the world revolves around. Just kidding. Okay, I'm gonna wrap this video up because I'm rambling. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, say hey, introduce yourself, and we'll catch you next week. Bye guys.